Good morning or good evening for those who are watching these presentations. My name is Kelvin Ng, and this presentation will be focusing on resident inns and how the information system affect the company's business model. The presentations presented by me and my fellow group members are as listed. Here is the following agenda for these presentations. We have divided into four sections. The first section including background, product and service of the hotel, operational challenge during and before the pandemic, organizational chart. Second section including business process overview, table of entities and activities, narrating the scripting, context diagram, system flowchart, charting, package design. Third section is recommendation, and lastly, the summarize. Resident Inn is first launched in 1975 at Kansas and later being acquired by Merriam in later years. Currently, the organizations have 855 chains at North Americans and have over 5,000 employees, which is the amount of one of the largest in the extended stay hotel industry. Janice Mayhem is currently the Senior Vice President and Global Brand Leaders. And the slogans for the organizations is the customers, it is not a room, it is a residence. Residence Inn provide many different variety of service to its guests, such as a fitness center for the guests to exercise, providing varieties of food options, including free breakfast, snacks, outdoor grilled, and provide the options to deliver the meal to the room. The hotel also providing space for its guests to relax. For example, hotel bars and outdoor space outside the hotel. Lastly, the hotel also providing other utility service, such as free Wi-Fi, dry cleaning, and private meeting space. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, the hotel needed to focusing on providing a clean environment for the guests and ensure the food safety has been properly handled. Now, under the influence of pandemic, the hotel need to deal with issues such as previous book appointment being cancelled at the last minute, reductions of guest amount, the possibility of employees contact with the virus, which lead to more internal problems such as financially burdens and the handles of laid-off employees.
Resident Inc. has a highly divided structure based on the organization chart. There's 5 division groups under the CEO of the company. The first group being the American teams. He is the primary source of revenue for the corporations. There's 2 subdivisions who are responsible for the branding and the task with the hotel. The second division focus on human resources. Division which take charge of assigning position of other employees. The third division focusing on the business chain at Asian Pacific and ensure the market in area. The fourth division focusing on global development of the corporations and extend the business chain to other national countries. Last but not least, the division that responsible for business chain at Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And now I will pass the topic to Jeffrey Lee.
Thank you, Kelvin. And now I'll be talking about the business processes, including Wi-Fi, NFC, mobile communication and automation, QR codes, chatbots and messaging, and big data. So first, we'll be talking about Wi-Fi infrastructure overhauls. Guests expect the hotel to provide strong Wi-Fi connections and reliable speed, so hotels should invest in faster Wi-Fi infrastructure. The new Wi-Fi infrastructure allows the hotel to provide higher density Wi-Fi and start to offer in-building mobile phone coverages to guests who stay in the hotel. The higher quality Wi-Fi could benefit guests that want to host a conference or function at the hotel. New Wi-Fi infrastructure has revolutionized the usage of other technology, and some have even shown their efficiency during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next, we have near-field communication, and the technology allows guests to use their own device, usually their smartphone, in exchange data with the credit card to perform an instant and secure mobile payment. It is also being used to gain entry to the hotel rooms with the usage of ID cards provided by the hotel. Use of point system can keep track of customer loyalty towards the hotel and provide advertising based on the guest's interests. Technology has not only enhanced the personalized experience to the guests, but also minimizes the need for human contact and fits in with the nature of social distancing. Next, we have mobile communication and automation. Hotels have created digital apps for guests to perform check-in rooms, services, and other customer-oriented digital interactions. The apps allow internet users to access more personal guest information. Based on guests' past behavior, the hotel would display similar food preferences. The apps have minimized the need for the traditional check-ins and concierge methods, and there's potential to avoid unnecessary spending on large static reception desks. Next, we have QR codes, and they're very popular in the early 2000s. They allow its users to scan the code and receive the newest and latest information. They can be used on posters and advertisements to encourage online booking services. The technology is being used in digital marketing, and there's several functions such as customizable, updatable, and trackable. Managers can show the menu to guests just through sending a QR code. Next, we have chatbots and messaging. Introducing chatbots into the customer service system can be a way to counter the influence of COVID-19, which leads to less employees being employed. Chatbot is able to answer simple questions. Difficult or qualitative questions could directly transfer to the customer support line. The artificial intelligence built in the chatbot is able to educate itself through observations from the previous chat logs and can provide instantaneous responses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Finally, we have big data, and the majority of the industry uses big data. The data can be used to create a recommendation list of hotels for the guests, and the data can also be used for revenue managers to keep track of current trends in the business and can create pricing strategies with a better understanding of customer needs. Here we have a table of entities and activities. The main ones are customers, front desk clerk, and the automated accounting system. We'll see most of these activities in the narrative next. Now for the narrative. When a customer books a residence in, they have to see the front desk to check in. The front desk checks with their computer for room availability. Next, they will be allowed to pay with cash, credit, or personal check. If the payment is in cash, then the front desk employee must collect the full expenses for the hotel room for the entire duration of the stay. Guests may also deposit cash with the front desk employee, which will then add credit against the room number so that the guest can utilize hotel amenities and pay using their room number. If the guest does not choose to add credit to their room number, they'll need to pay for the hotel services as they're consumed. If the customer decides to pay by credit card, then front desk employee will scan your card in order to capture its data. A tentative hold will also be placed on the card to ensure that it is valid and has sufficient funds. With this method, guests will be able to utilize hotel amenities and make charges against his room because these charges will be added to the room invoice. At checkout, the front desk employee will execute the charge on the credit card, which in turn will deposit money to the bank and enter on the general ledger. Here we have the context diagram, which explains the narrative basically, where the customer makes payment to the front desk clerk, and if by cash, it's received onto the accounting system, deposited into the bank and general ledger. If by credit card, the payment method is validated and an invoice is generated on the system, then it's onto the trial balance and front desk clerk, where it's entered into the accounting processing payment system, where it's deposited into the bank and general ledger and recorded on the general ledger. Here we have the system flow chart, which shows the customer interacting with the front desk clerk. They make a manual input to check for room availability, and the accounting system verifies that there's rooms available. It's displayed onto the front desk's computer. They review with the customer, and then once the customer decides to pay, they process the customer's order. The transaction is processed into the accounting system, creates a customer profile, and puts it into the data store where it records the corresponding entries, updates the trial balance, and posts it to the general ledger. Then a customer order is created, the customer gets a copy, and the company gets a copy. Finally, we have the charting package design with many tables, as you can see, such as customer, feedback, booking, payment, room. And there's a lot of primary keys, such as booking ID, customer ID, etc. And that's it. I'll pass it on to Kyle for the next part. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Today, I will be making our group recommendation to the Residence Inn team. As a group, we have decided that it is most important that Residence Inn both streamlines their customer payment process and leverages their collected data. Streamlining their customer payment process would mitigate human error and ease the burden placed on the accounting system. While on the other hand, leveraging the data collected from customers through the new Marriott Bonvoy app will aid in ad campaigns as well as customer acquisition. I would like to first discuss the new Marriott Bonvoy app, which was launched in February 2020. On the app, customers can make hotel reservations, payments, and they can even use their phones as room key. This is fantastic given the new circumstances of everyday life. People are seeking fewer and fewer face-to-face interactions through their checkout experiences, which is evident through things like mobile check-ins for airlines and even Amazon's new cashierless grocery stores. So how will the app streamline the payment process? During phase 1 of the streamlining process, we are proposing that the app be made mandatory for check-ins. Firstly, customers will no longer need to interact with the front desk clerk upon arrival. This eliminates the front desk clerk's burden to accept and validate the payment method. It would also eliminate the front desk employee's requirement to make data entries to the customer information data store. By making these changes, you will make the check-in process much quicker, and you will have an immediate record of payment on your in-house accounting system due to the communication between the Marriott Bonvoy app and the in-house accounting system. In phase 2, we recommend the elimination of cash. There are many risks associated with cash. There are recording difficulties, chances of theft, and even long reconciliation processes. All of these things are burdensome. So if a customer could exclusively provide payment via the Bonvoy app, then you can ensure that your accounting records will be kept up to date, again, due to the communication between the Bonvoy app and your in-house accounting system. These two changes of making the app mandatory for check-ins and eliminating cash payments will leave you with a streamlined customer payment process that will ease the burden on your accounting system. As a group, we also recommend utilizing the Bonvoy app to increase the amount of data placed in the customer information data store. From the app, you can generate the following data: customer age, marital status, place of residence, and amenities consumed and cost to stay. You can access the amenities consumed due to the mobile key app that is available through the Bonvoy app. We have identified these two green highlighted bubbles as being key drivers for the continued business with a specific client. By knowing where a client lives, what amenities they like, and how much they're willing to spend, then you'll be able to tailor a marketing package to that customer that they will not be able to refuse. I hope these recommendations can be useful to the Residence Inn team, and I will now pass it off to Jeffrey for the concluding summary.
Thank you, Kyle. In summary, Residence Inn focuses on providing safe, quick, and effective services for their customers. They try to enhance their consumers' experience by making sure the management of the company's business processes are adequate. The key areas in which their operating system comes together to maintain are the process of hotel housekeeping, which can be seen through the use of NFC technology to help the staff access rooms, the process of supplying necessary inputs, which can be seen in our recommendation through the use of apps to collect the customer information, the process of guest arrivals and departure also could be useful in terms of using an app to collect the information quicker, the process of producing and serving food and beverages, which can also be seen through the use of QR codes. The technology used by Residence Inn all work in sync to make these processes run smoothly. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.